reason being, it's honest.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet. I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child they were never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive.
February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produce already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Think about the framing here. First, from my industry, the media, with the best and most recent example being Israel-Palestine. One study reviewed over 300 articles from The Times, The Post, CNN, and Fox News. The time frame, October 2023 to March 2024. Murdoch's news station went with the security threat framing, basically saying that Netanyahu and co. put necessary defenses in place. The Times and CNN went with humanitarian crisis and moral responsibility framing. Thus, when all of that happens,
those children that died, lying. We understand that you're a news channel, you have your foreign policy, but where's your humanity? Where? Where is your humanity? How many children died? I ask you to condemn the Israeli government. Air this! You liar! You liar! Your misrepresentation of Arabs, of your dehumanization of Arabs, what do you have to say for yourself? You have a duty.
Journalists start speaking out predominantly, not in this country, but outside the United States. Meanwhile, in Europe, specifically London.
This is a genocide happening in front of our eyes.
That word is, as you know, incredibly emotive, and the Israelis, as you know, will be saying that they are targeting Hamas only, that they don't target civilians.
Not the truth, unfortunately.
Planned, military incursions.
Yes, but it's not the truth.
Yes, civilians are dying.
Civilians are dying, and the way that the bombs are getting dropped, I don't believe are in a targeted way. Nothing from what I'm hearing on the ground suggests that the bombs have been dropped in a targeted way. Our social media manager, all 5 houses around him got blown up. They estimate 100 people were killed in them. Yesterday, his house was the last one remaining in the neighborhood. They leveled an entire neighborhood.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucy.
And I do need to make that qualification, of course, that that it is always denied by the Israelis that genocide is taking place. They say these are strategic planned strikes in Gaza and that they are targeting the militant group Hamas.
But I'm here to let the world know that that's not the case.
Kareem, you've been able to have your say.
The coverage from the BBC, lackluster at best. The broadcaster was set to air the documentary, Gaza, How to Survive a War Zone. It displayed the unbearable experiences of Palestinians being properly investigated by Britain's public broadcaster, wrote Owen Jones. Yet they shelved the film. It was just another example of many.
BBC buildings are made of glass. They are meant to communicate transparency, openness, and it's an environment in which you're constantly surveilled, constantly seen. And after October 7th, it became an environment in which it was very hard as a journalist within those newsrooms to express any dissent, to express any concerns over the coverage, to effectively be a good journalist. And a very strange newsroom culture set in where journalists were making their decisions based on fear, based on taking the path of least resistance, based on the potential for mass complaints, for complaint campaigns, based on whether or not they would get told off by, certain editors, certain executives.
That is Karishma Patel. And Karishma left her job as a journalist with the BBC because she saw it for what it is. Not just the war. Can't even call it that. Not just what Israel is doing and how Palestinians are being mistreated and killed, but also how her company, the BBC, is handling things. Now, I do want to be clear, stateside, there are plenty of examples. Here's one. As Dan Frumkin put it, which I agree with, you simply cannot cover Trump's second term accurately and responsibly if you're not willing to situate his acts as part of a terrifying descent into authoritarianism, racism, and cruelty. And the mainstream political media, for a variety of reasons, is not willing to do anything of the kind. Donald Trump utters or does something vile, and the media notes it and moves on. Or he does something outrageous, and the media takes the edge off it with polite wording and moves on. Or he acts in a way that no other public figure could do, but somehow he gets away with it. Everybody moves on. Jennifer Schultz, a sharp media observer and former TV news executive, singled out the following headline from the New York Times. Trump faces the complicated reality of a costly, unpopular war in Iran. She noted that the story itself was perfectly clear about the war with no endgame, but saw the headline as upside down and not nearly as direct as it should be. She suggested something like this: Trump's promise of a short-term conflict with minimal economic impact proves wrong. The Times headline isn't false. In my view, it's just too deferential in tone. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.